Okay, guys, I'm back. I don't know what the hell all that was, and I'm seeing all these posts. These people aren't. Oh, I don't even know who the hell these people are. You should see all this. I'm going to put it out there so people can see what's going on. All of a sudden, I heard noises and, like something coming across my screen. Yeah, look at this. Now, I know I didn't have that many people on, and a lot of these names popping up out of nowhere, and not even in English. Oh, wait a minute. I'm in the wrong chat. Hold on. Let me go to my channel. There we go. That was somebody else's altogether. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I don't hear anything now either. Okay, so now, okay, there was nothing on there. It was just me. So, all right, so let me try and run it back again. Let's start over. Okay, so I made an attempt at doing resin molds. I made 3 molds. 1 mold came out perfect. The other 2 came out warped. And something was like, I had these little bubbles in them or something. I don't know what they were, like little dimples throughout the entire mold. And I'm like, what the hell is wrong? And I mean, I did everything the right way too. I know I did it the right way. And that's why the first one came out perfect. I don't know what the deal was with the other 2. So it wasn't so much the mold process that bothered me. It was the fact that making the mask part, the latex mask, sucked. Here's the thing. All right, the surface of the mold. All right, like a stone mold right now, I have, this was dwell casting for about 5 hours. Look how perfect the inside of this is. No flaws, nothing. Looks perfect. No air bubbles, no nothing. It's in perfect condition. No runs, no heavy nothing. It's just really in good shape. So this is going to make the 24-inch mask. Once I foam fill this, I have to let this latex shrink up for about a day. Probably tomorrow, I'm going to shrink up. This will shrink up enough to where I can foam fill it. Well, first I'm going to pull it to make sure there's no flaws, like bubbles on the face of the mask. Now, on resin, the problem is you don't get this perfect. You get all these runs everywhere, even when you slush cast it, because the latex against the wall doesn't dry, all right, against the face of it itself. It dries from the inside here towards the walls, towards the face of the mold, where on stone molds, it dries from the face of the mold inward. And that is the issue with resin molds. That means you have to thin cast. What up, CC? I'm explaining. This is going to make the 24-inch mask right here. When I foam fill this and pull this to make sure it's perfect, I'm going to foam fill this, and then I have to stone this. This will be a 25-inch mask, foam filled, and then I'll stone it, and then that mold will produce a 24-inch mask. So what I was explaining about is the resin. The resin molds dry from the inside here towards the wall, where stone mold draws the moisture out, dries from the surface of the mold into the vacant hole. Now what you do is, it's already kind of dry against the wall, all right, against the face of this mask, which is good because you'd never get this thing to dry. So I've got my fan over here blowing down into the hole, and that's going to dry the inside of this. And by tomorrow, this should be shrunk up enough to where I can pull it to make sure everything is okay. All right. And I'll pull it out of here. And if there's no flaws in this mask, then I'll put it back in here, foam fill it. All right. And that'll shrink us. This will be a 25-inch mask. But when you cast that into the next mold, it'll make a 24. So we'll have a 24-inch mask, and it's going to be nice. It's really going to be nice. Yeah, so forget it. Resin's out for me. I'm not doing any resin molds. That's out. I just spent a small fortune on the resin. I have my resin now all cleaned up and put over on this side. I put my resin there. I got the other part B and part A separated. I've got my release agents. I got all my clay stacked up nice and even. It's still got a lot more organization here to do, but I did get a lot of work done here. Now this is what that stone that I made right there. I made that stone casting, that stone mold over top of this guy. This is what it molded, and look how perfect this one is. There's not a flaw in this. There's no flaws in this pull, and it made a really, really nice mold. That mold over there, and that's gonna now that's 26. When I made that mold will produce a 25. Then what I do is I take that mold, or that latex pull, foam filled, I pull that out. That will be a 25-inch mask. Then what you do, foam filled mask, then you cast stone over it just like this one was done, and then it'll make a 24-inch mask. So there's a process of trying to get these masks shrunk down to the perfect size for everybody. It's not an easy task because you're trying to pull those masks out before they shrink too much, and then you make your mold at the perfect thickness. And when you dwell cast a mask, which means you fill the hole completely up with wet latex, you fill it completely up, and I let it sit in the mold for 1 hour. That's it. And that gives you a nice thickness on a mask, not too thick, not too thin. Gives you a nice thickness and a nice even look on the inside of the, you're not seeing all these runs and all this, it's awful. And variations in thickness. Now what you have here is from the resin mold, the 24-inch resin mold. The problem with this is because in some areas, the latex was too thick on the inside against the wall. And because resin doesn't pull moisture out, the surface, wherever the thickest latex was still wet. All right, so after a day and a half, literally a day and a half of letting it sit in there, I was hoping that it would dry up, and it didn't. It stayed wet. Why? Because imagine my finger is the thickness of latex. Well, once it dries about that far in, all right, from the inside, this is the outside, like the top of my finger is the face of the mold. This is the inside. Once it dries to a certain point, it won't keep drying because it goes too thick, and then it can't reach that wet latex. So it creates a lock, and then that latex never dries. Latex will stay in my bucket wet. As long as I keep the lid on it, it won't harden up for a couple years. So it would have never dried. So what happened was, in spots, the latex was too thick, and it got to a certain point, and then the rest of that latex that was against that face was soaking wet, and this is the end result. This is the end result. So the only way to combat that is you have to thin that latex considerably. Thinning it down, and I don't like doing that because it weakens the mask. It weakens the latex. So you thin it down, slush cast it, drain it, and really let it drain as much as possible. You want a really thin casted first layer. And then you got to put your fan on it and make sure that that's completely dry. All right, to get that because even the surface has to be dry as well as the inside of the mask. It has to be thoroughly dry. And the only way you're going to get it thoroughly dry is if it's a very thin casted first layer. And then you have to do the same thing repetitively. Now, what bothers me about that is if you're letting it completely dry, you're getting shrinkage. All right, so it's pulling away from the walls of the resin. At the same time, you know, you're slush casting more latex into something that's already cured against the face, and you're getting shrinkage. It's just a nightmare of a process. I can see it after my first, and this is my first time doing this. So the problem with this, oh my God, there was spots on this. Let me get closer to it. Once again, my chair's rolling backwards on me. I think I'm on a hill. Hold on, guys. Let me put you down for a second. Hold this chair. Come on. Stay upright. Need to be able to turn this mask around so you can see the different things. Anywhere you see these pockets of like latex literally got pulled away from the face, it's because it was soaking wet. It was all soaking wet on the ear. It's too thick on the ear. It was all wet down in here. I made an aged Michael Myers mask without even trying, with no sculpting involved. The ears, literally both sides were. Now look how thin it is here. Like it's thick. It's thick. Like here's the thin area right here. You can see it, and then it's thick everywhere else. It's just ridiculous. It's such a hard process. I mean, there's a learning curve, and I know that I could get it, but I would have to practice a lot, and I don't want to waste all that latex practicing. So my thought is, the hell with the resin. I know stone works good. It's hard because it's heavier. It's heavier material, and now I figured out exactly why my stone molds weren't holding up, or they were getting flaws in them for a while. So what I found out was you have to make sure that these latex masks are completely cured. And then you do spray a little release on them. You don't go crazy with the release. You just spray a little bit of release on them so the latex isn't pulling moisture from the stone. You don't want that on the very surface of the mold. So make sure that your latex masters are completely cured and dry before you put stone on them. So that mold over there that's got that latex in there, once I foam fill that and pull that out, I've got to put that latex mask just like that. I'm going to have to put it under a fan for at least 2 to 3 or 4 days to make sure that the latex is completely dry. And then once it's dry, I can make the stone mold. All right, so it looks like I lost a lot of them. What the hell is going on? Is somebody hacking me? Am I hacked? Can you guys hear me? Thumbs up if you can hear me. Thumbs up if you can hear me. I don't know if I'm being hacked or not. Let me know. Can you guys hear me? So, well, since we're... Okay, can you hear me? Say yes. Thumbs up. Okay. Okay, you can hear me. I feel like I'm being hacked. So the LC, I still got a lot of work to do to the LC. That's the LC right there. Thank God you guys can hear me. I thought maybe I was being hacked. So that's going to be the LC. That's going to be the life cast mask. Yes, let me show you the details on what we molded and now shrinking down this piece of perfection. I'm back, Asylum. Yes, I am. See, I did this once before. Now, I know I'm zoomed in, so the face gets distorted. It looks like it's pulled in and narrow, and it's not. This is not what you're If I back way up, it gives you the real dimension. It gives you, like, I have to be at least 6 feet away. Actually, yeah, I can't do that. There's only one true way, but they won't let you use that process. What I'm trying to show you is I learned a little trick. If you guys are ever trying to repair like bubbles, little tiny imperfections that are in your mask, all right, there was an air bubble right in the corner here. You see all that white stuff that's in there? You know what that is? That's latex caulk. That's what I used to fill that. I took latex caulk, and then there was a little spot right here that had a little bubble, air bubble in it. So I filled it with latex caulk. There's one right here that had an air bubble in it, latex caulk, and then just kind of rub it into the hole. What's nice about it is the latex, once it dries, it really grabs. It does not let go. There was a tiny, tiny little air bubble right there, and I filled that with latex caulk. Although it's a little bit of white stuff on the outside, but that didn't hurt nothing. It's kind of almost chalky, but it worked really well. The latex caulk is the method. Here's another spot right here. There was a little air bubble right there. What happened was there was a little pin, like a little thing sticking out, and I cut it off. I snipped it, and there was a big air bubble right underneath of it, an air pocket. So there was one here. Now that was massive that I fixed, and I filled that with mask latex right there. That white stuff, and Asylum, I figured out a way to caulk. Like there was a big air bubble right in here inside between the two lips. And what you do is you take latex caulk and you can fill it. And believe it or not, it's actually, it looks like a mess, but it's not. It's shaped right. It's literally, I was able to, because you can actually shape the caulk. I took a, let me see if I can show you what I didn't use this tool, but I used something, here's something similar to it. So what I did was I took the latex caulk and I put it in the hole, and I took this little thing here and I make sure that it was nice and smooth inside of that, and it filled it out perfect. And I did the same thing on the bottom part, and it looks perfect on the inside of the. So we're gonna know what that looks like, and all these little white spots you're seeing, they were little air bubbles, that holes inside the sculpture. And the brows, man, there's no air bubbles in them at all. They're really perfect. No air bubbles. They look really good. This pull was amazing when I pulled this out. Yeah, you're always going to get these little imperfections, always. And usually what you do is when you make the stone mold, this innie of an air bubble becomes an outie on the surface of the mask, and then you just take your finger and just rub it off, and it'll disappear. Now I did that for that in case it was there. It wasn't, so I didn't have to worry about it. But when you get into areas like this is tough. If you get an air bubble where it's a deep air bubble in here, you can't fix that with latex even, because you can't sculpt latex. So you need something that's kind of sculptable, and believe it or not, latex caulking works really good to fix any kind of defects. And these lips look amazing, man. They really do look good. They're the right width apart this way here. They have the right shape going back and down. This is the master 26-inch. This made a 25-inch mold. That stone mold that I have latex sitting over there in the corner will produce a 25-inch mask. Every time I make a mold, like I make a mold, this is 26 inches. I'll make a mold and it can shrink it down to maybe 24 3/4 to 25 inches. That's what the next mold will produce. So I'm going to make another mold. Where is the bigger version? You know what? I have it out. hold on, let me see something. I think this is the biggest version right here. It's 26 inches. Yeah, that's how big I made the original. I made the original. Let me go grab it. It's in my room. It's in my studio, out in my living room. I didn't want to get them confused. Oh, let me show you. This is perfect. Now this is going to make a 25-inch mask. All right. And when I stone that mask at 25 inches, that stone mold will make a 24-inch mask. That's the shrinking process that you have to do. Hang on, let me go grab that mold. Or latex, that original latex pool. Here it is here. Nothing worse than having a job with a 401k match. Now this is the one that I decided to redo. I'm taking a tour through my house here. This is the one I was decided to redo because it had too many flaws, too many air bubbles. All right. You'll see that it's the exact same size as that one. All right, that's the very first one right here. Now I'm going to show you all the flaws as soon as I get close enough, because my chair seems to keep wanting to go way back on me every time I sit in it. Okay, so in here, there's all kinds of flaws in here. There was a big... Now I filled these with the same method, the putty, and it's smooth. Oh, Norton. It had white stuff on the lips. These are the biggest versions. It's 26 inches is the mass, is the biggest. Now I have the big mold that made these, and that's 27 inches. That went over the 27-inch clay. And when you went over top of the 27-inch clay, that mold produces a 26-inch head. All right, this is the big as they go. They don't get any bigger than this. And that's a 26-inch mask right there, foam filled. These are both foam filled, as you can see. Now I hollow out the inside and then I restuff them. And the reason why is because I can take them in and out of the mold easily that way. Now you'll see here the white stuff. There was all kinds of little holes, like you see how this is all, like the hairline is kind of messed up there? Look how perfect it is here. Yeah, this turned out perfect. This one turned out really nice. But this had an air bubble here. You're not going to avoid all air bubbles. This one just had way too many. Look at this. It had all kinds of air bubbles right in here. Had an air bubble here. And had air bubbles that I had to fill all the way down in here. There was also... Nope, this wasn't the one that had that. Yeah, there was air bubbles here, here, and here. Yeah, this is not air bubble. It's just a piece of... And there was a protruding air bubble right here, right in the corner. And boy, was that a bitch to get that out of there. I had to use a Dremel to get that air bubble and smooth it out to where it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it now. But because it had this many flaws in it, I was like, no, I got to redo this. So I made another mask, and that's what this is. I made another one, and the eyebrows came out perfect. I didn't have any flaws in the nose here where there was. There was also an air bubble right here. Actually, it's still there. Anyway, but I have no flaws on the nose at all. Everything looks really good. So And the ears are really nice. There's no bubbles in those. They turned out perfect. The mold was perfect. It was the pull. The mold that these came out of is a perfect. It's really nice. But if you put the latex in there and you don't get all those air bubbles away from the face of the mold, you'll end up with some defects, and that's the hard part. So I literally take my rubber mallet and I sit in front of my mold as it's dwell casting, and I bang on it. I bang, 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 bang for literally a half hour. Let me read some of these comments now. Getting some laughs, are you, Bo Norton? Yeah, I bet. What's that white stuff? Yeah, I know what you were thinking. Pervert. Oh, God. Anyway, yeah. Hold on, let me get this chair more comfortable. This sucks, man. All right, I had to put you down for a second. Yeah, so I'm close to it, so it distorts the way the sculpture looks. Or should I say the foam-filled latex mask. Now, this is weird. The latex is much darker on this, but this has been out of the mold for weeks. Probably at least 3 weeks. What's Greg Brewer, what's happening, buddy? Everything is good. And guess what, guys? Now, I need Bo Norton. I don't know what name you want to call it, but you guys that get these masks that are free, that you've been following me for God knows how long, and you've been very patient, and I thank you all for that, because you're getting a piece of perfection here. This thing really is a nice mask. So it's well worth the wait. Thank you, Greg. It's going to be well worth the wait for you guys. When you get this mask, you're going to be blown away by it. Now, it hasn't been painted or haired yet, but I also learned a little trick with the hair. I think I got the hair figured out. I think in order to style the hair, the one thing about the flashback mask, it's not the hairline. The hairline is not the secret. It's the hair layers that are right up here on this portion of the head. And what it looks like on the screen used mask is the hair's going in different directions. And you can't achieve that if your glue lines are all forcing your hair going straight back. The only way you can achieve the hair going in different directions. Now, my hand is, this wouldn't be the glue line would be here, but the hair would lay that way and this way. And that's what I have to do. I'm going to layer hair in here, probably about that wide, not much wider than that, up above the hairline in different directions. You know, this way it's this way, then one goes this way. This way you can swirl this hair a lot more effectively, and it'll give it that authentic look. I think that's the secret. It's my guess. Nobody's sharing that info. I'm putting it out there because I figured out a way to hair these masks to make them look very screen accurate. You can't have the hair going like normal Michael Myers masks. Let me try to show you. All right, so here's your hairline. All right, that glue goes right there and the hair goes in that direction. All right, but your hairline, everything's going back, and that's not the way this is haired. It's really close, man. It is so close. I'd hate the split hairs. It's really close. This mask is going to really give you a really good version. Now, what I'm doing, guys, to all you guys that have been so patient, all right, you're getting custom plates, name plates inside your mask. In other words, Bo Norton, Asylum Beyond. Inside the wall of the, well, you can't see it because this is foam filled, but inside the wall, I'm going to make sculpted nameplates, and then I'm going to sculpt them in clay, and then I'm going to put these nameplates, and then I'm going to stone them, and then I'm going to put latex in them, And I'm going to stick those nameplates into the walls, right on the neck or wherever, and it's going to say Asylum Edition. And it'll be numbered. Well, actually, no, it won't be numbered because you guys get free masks. They're not going to be the numbered ones. You guys get free. You get protos. That's what yours is going to say, prototype. Asylum Edition. That's how it's going to say it on the plate. Now, I might put it on the back of the neck. Yeah, I think that's where it's going to be, on the inside of the back of the neck. Asylum Edition. Now, that's a custom, personalized mask, and that's my way of saying thank you to you guys that have waited so long to get this mask. And it's going to be in production in the next, I can tell you, probably 2 to 3 weeks. I'll be starting to send masks off to you guys. I'm going to say 2 to 3 weeks, yeah, safely, because the next mold has to shrink up. That makes the 24-inch mask. One, I need to know whether you want the 25-inch mask or the 24-inch mask. You'll have to let me know. Measure your head. If you have a 23-inch head, I recommend the 24. If you have a close to a 24-inch head, like 23 3/4, I would recommend getting the 25-inch mask. Just depending on your head size. Now, the best way to measure your head is around the brow, right here. All right, you want to use tape. You don't want to use, you got to use a fabric tape. Right above the ear, goes completely around the head, and then you see the furthest point of the back of the head. That's where you're measuring, all the way around the scalp area, this area right here. You want to make sure that you measure that whole distance. Measure that on your own head. Give me your measurement, and then I'll say, okay, this is the mask you need. Now, they're only going to be 24 and 25. There might be 23 3/4. I don't know what the shrinkage is going to be. I don't know exact. The 25 seems like they're right on the money, 25 inches. But the 24 is liable to shrink up just a little bit more. Yeah, there was a little flaw here too. See this? This is a little dent in here. Yeah, it's leaning back because my head is tilted. All right, so that it's leaning back. It's normally like this. That's the profile. Tell me that doesn't look sick. Tell me that doesn't look very... See, a lot of... I learned the trick with the eye cuts, and I won't reveal that because that is really, really, really hard to figure out. But once I did, I knew now... I now know how to fix all my masks. Every mask I ever do going forward will never have a problem with the slant going back far enough to where it's supposed to go back this way, like this. All right? I see a lot of masks where they're literally coming down like this. It's like they look very flat to the face. Makes the whole face look very flat. Doesn't have that curvature. Yeah, I think so too. It's not exact. There's no way to. It's like making a perfect circle. It's not exact, but it is. It's very close. I can't. And I can't wait to see what this looks like painted. Oh my God, the paint scheme on this I got coming is going to be sick. And the eye cuts, I figured out how to get the eye cuts. Bo Norton, we finally nailed it. Yes, we did. And those lips they look amazing. You know what? The best way to appreciate this look is let's go back. Let's go back on it so you can see this thing from a distance. See, the problem is when you're too close to these masks, you can't see how accurate they are. When you get too close, you have to be at least 6 feet away to photograph. If you guys are ever selling a mask, like if you buy a mask and you don't like it and you just, for whatever reason, it's too big, whatever, and you want to resell it on Facebook, I'm going to give you a little lesson with taking photos. When you take a photo of a mask, Now, you can get theatrical with it too, like putting backlighting behind the mask to show off the fibers of hair and give it a really good look. And then you have to have front lighting to, to cast the shadowing. The real trick is making sure that you're far enough away from your subject. Because as you get closer, look how distorted this face starts to look when you get close. It doesn't look like this. This is not the way it looks. It looks like that. Now, what I'm saying is don't take your pictures too close. Make sure you're at least 6 to 8 feet away from your pictures and then zoom in. Or, better yet, on your camera, if you're using a phone, an iPhone, use the, what do they call that? Profile? Not profile. I forget, there's a setting anyway. Well, just make sure you're 6 to 7 feet away. 6 to 7 feet away, take your photo and zoom in. Like here, I'm far away. I'm zoomed out here, so now I'm zoomed out. So now I want to zoom in on it. I'm 7 feet away at least. I'll zoom in, then you take your still shot. Blip, right there. And then you can crop it to make it look good. You know, and then you do all your different angles, but make sure you're at least 6 to 7 feet away from your photo, from your object of what you're taking your picture of. Yeah, because this really does look good. Oh man, does it look good. I can't wait to, let me get the lighting a little bit further over on the eye cut so you can see that eye cut. Look how, oh man, I can't wait. This is going to be nice. Guys, it's well worth the wait. You're going to have yourself a nice piece. So like I was getting, let me get back to this. We're going to customize the guys that have been waiting these free masks. They're getting prototypes. They're all going to be marked prototype, my signature on them. I'm actually going to do a sculpted signature too for my future mask. I'm looking for a logo stamp that I may use instead. I may just sculpt out a signature that will go on the mask, every mask. That's what I think I might do. And it's going to be the monster eyes and my custom corpses. That's what I decided to do. And put that in there as my signature. I don't know. No, I need a signature. I think a signature is needed. I'll have to come up with a really cool signature. And then make a sculpt of it. I'll make a sculpt of it. Man, we got ourselves a beautiful piece. So I did figure out how to do the eyes, and they don't look too wide. Like I don't want to give it away because it was such a pain in the ass. It was like such a big moment of, oh my God, this is what's been wrong, you know. And hang on, let me get the chair back. Let me get the chair back to where it belongs. I needed to update you guys. Now you see all these little flaws in here. It don't matter what's on the inside here. That doesn't matter at all. Now, got another question for you guys. You know, what would you rather me do? Age this to make it look like the 2018 and leave the features the way they are as the flashback mask? In other words, don't change the lips, don't change the eye cuts, don't slope them down at all, don't do anything to it. Just put the cracks and everything into this to make it aged to look like the 2018 H40 mask. That's what I think I'm going to do to this. I don't think I want to change the shape of it at all. I just think that it would represent the flashback. You know, the weird thing is, Christopher Nelson made this mask after he did the 2018 H40 mask. And he had to make this mask look a little like the 2018 mask, the H40 mask. So that's why he didn't really make it look like a Kirk mask. You know, it still had to look a lot like, I'm sorry for the shaking. Let me do this. Let me put it on stand. Let's put it on the stand. so we're not shaking around. And you guys can envy the yeah, and I can sit in front of the computer. Let me back up and I'll zoom in so you guys can see a good. How about that? How does that look, guys? Sorry for my back and my gut. Ugh. Oh, I just knocked the damn camera all to hell. There we go. Perfect. Now I'll turn this guy. He's looking more at you. I'll make this light hitting it better. And now looking straight at you. Okay, now I'm going to read your comments. Now I can see, like, you don't say it, but the computer is right back here, and I can look at the computer. I don't have to look at the phone. And now you don't have to watch the shaking camera go over the place. Maybe what happened to it. I don't know what you mean. It's not in. Rodrigo, this is still in production. I'm still making the molds. You can reach out to me. It's going to be on eBay. I'll be selling these on eBay, pretty much. Keep an eye out for them there, or you can buy one directly. I haven't set the price on these yet, but I'm guessing anywhere from $500 to $600 for these masks. But without them painted and haired and made look, they have to look screen accurate to me to get that kind of money for a mask, I think. And I would not. You know what? I got to turn the fan off. Give me a second, because that's what you're. Oh, I can't turn the fan off. Damn it! All right, I'm gonna bring the camera closer to me. Actually. Let me bring it closer. Zoom out. Let's see if I can knock the camera stand all over the place. There's a fan on, blowing on my mold. All right, now. Let me turn these heads a little bit better so you can see them. Let's turn this one this way. And the light's hitting directly on it. Can you hear me okay now? I'm right next to the phone. Yeah, so I'm about 2 to 3 weeks away from having this in full production with a 25-inch mask and a 24-inch mask. That's what I'm looking at. And yeah, there's a fan behind me blowing into the latex that I've got drying. And it's got to blow in there until tomorrow morning before I can pull it. Check for flaws. If there's any flaws in it, I got to fix them. Before I would say I don't have to fix them then. I have to fix them after I foam fill it. I have to fix it because the goal is to get it down to a 24-inch mask, and that's what this mold will do. This next, the foam-filled latex pull that's coming out of the mold that's behind blowing on it right now. Thanks for the hearts, man. Love you right back, buddy. Love you right back. Um, that's going to make the 24-inch mask. I think that this is very accurate. I think we have a really, really gem. I think we have a gem here. Now, this is from the help from you guys. Believe me, all the help that you've given me, and that's why a lot of you guys have been on with me for such a pipe master. Yes, that's who it is. I was like, who's throwing all these hearts, man? Yo, pipe masters on vacation. So I'm telling everybody, the people that are getting the free mask, it was all you guys, especially Pipe Master. Special thank you to Pipe Master, because he rode my ass, and I needed it at times. I really did. There was things that he would point out, and I would get frustrated. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, and I'd get like, and it does. It gets frustrating because when you're really sculpting the flaws that you don't even pick up, or you know what it is? I think I'm trying to isolate why we overlook things so much as sculptors. We're looking at the whole picture. We're trying to sculpt here. We're trying to sculpt there. We go here. We go there. We bounce all over the place. And there might be this one thing that we either missed or wasn't paying attention to as we were fixing the other things. And all of a sudden you go, oh, I don't see what you're talking about when somebody says something. You're not sure what they're saying. And then it's like, oh, you're right. That's not right. Now, it's funny. It took a picture of a profile view of this head, all right, to realize how far off I was. I have that book. I've showed you guys that book. The book shows you a picture of the profile. And I realized that the head sloped back more. Portugal. I didn't want to say where you were, Pipe Master. I was leaving that for you to everybody. He's all the way he's out in Portugal, enjoying his vacation, man. He's got to be loving it. I don't think he wants to come back. But there was a profile shot of this, and I'm going to try to turn it, and it was about like, hold on, let me get it to where it was the right angle. No, gotta go a little further. A little more. Jesus. It's about there. All right. And what I saw was my forehead was literally going too far straight up and down this way. And it looked like the chin was sticking out too far too. And I realized the screen used mask had more of a roundness to it. It was more rounded. And we took a lot of the forehead away. And man, it just really opened up my eyes to a lot of things. And the other thing I had wrong was this cheek line here. It was literally going flat across. Let me try to show you from the profile. All right. It was going flat across. In other words, this check mark part here was all the way out here. All right. And I couldn't figure out why this face didn't look right. It looked flat all in here. It looked very flat. And it wasn't. It was because I didn't have this taper back like that. I didn't have this taper. There's all these little tiny things that you overlook sometimes, and I've never done human figures before this mask. Before I started doing Michael Myers, and it's a long, tedious learning curve on trying to move this more like that, right? Portugal, man, that's got to be beautiful out there. What other copy are you talking about? The 24-inch that had all kinds of flaws, I can't use it? You're talking about the one that came out of the resin? Because that's a mess. I have another one out there. There's only one more out there, and that's the 24. It's a small mask. Let me show you. You know what? Let me go grab it. Hang on a second. Chat with each other. Just that looks rough. Yeah, that's right here. The resin one, the one that came out of the resin mold. Jesus, what a mess. I gotta clean this whole damn thing up. That's the one that came out of the resin mold. I'll never use resin again. Nope, 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 nope. What a piece of shit that is. The H78 masks. Rodrigo Gasman. Yikes, yep, that came out of the resin mold. I'm never using resin again. The hell with the resin. You can keep the resin. That was the 24-inch. Look at all the flaws in this, man. This got aged into the H40 without even trying. We don't need to look at that mess. As a matter of fact, tonight I'll be cutting that up now that I put it on YouTube just to show you how shitty that mask looked. And we'll stick to these masks, these perfect works of art. The lighting's not giving you any of the shadowing. You can't really see too much of it. This one's standing out because it's darker. The latex turned darker. This one's still curing. That's probably going to be at least 2-3 more days before this gets that dark. Maybe even a week. But let me go get, let's do that. Let me put this up here, move this over here, and I'll go get the small mask that I pulled that has flaws in it. Remember, this is leaning back. Let me go get that other mask and I'll put it right next to this, right here. It's a small mask. Now, that small mask would make the 24. Hold on. I'm back. Okay. That's actually not too bad a shape either, but it is much smaller. Now, the mold that I made back there that has latex in it that's foam filled right now is going to be the exact same size as this. All right, this is going to be the exact same size. Let me put it right next to it because you can't, it's out of frame. I'll give you an idea of how much smaller this is. And they're looking at the same depth, looking at the you can see how much smaller that mask is. That's foam filled. Now that, if I stone that, which I will be, the one that's in there now is going to be like this. This has got flaws in it, like the original first one here. It has the bad eyebrows because this This was a copy of this, and it has flaws underneath the nose here. It has the flaw inside the lip. Still, it had the bubble in the lip. There was things wrong with it. There was like this pinhole over here. There was a couple things underneath the chin that were a mess. The ears were a mess. I just, you know what? That's why I recasted the big one over here to get a perfect pull, foam fill it, and then I made another small one just like this. All right, and it's going to be, this will produce the 24-inch mask. If I were to stone this, that stone copy would make a 24-inch mask, because this is 25 inches right here. This is a 25-inch mask. Let me show you. Why bicker about it? Why not just show you how to measure this? What's happening, guys? Who's that? Who's Black Scorpio? What's happening, guy? All right, so this is, wow. Oh, that can't be right. I don't have it far enough back. Okay, that's what it was. I thought. I was like, what the hell's going on here? No, this is not far. Okay. This is a 25-inch mask. All right, that's 25. This is 26 in diameter. See how I have that measured? Going around. Actually, it's supposed to be right over top of the eyebrows. 25-inch mask. Now I'll do it to this one over here so you can see. I gotta rewrap that whole thing. Holy shit. Come on. Trying to do this and trying to keep my balance too at the same time. Yeah, see, 26 inch. See that? 26. Man, lots of hearts. I guess a lot of people are digging what they're seeing. So I think this mask is probably going to be selling for, I'm going to say, because Nags is like 600. I think I'm going to go along with that price. 600 when you buy it directly from me. Hair, paint, the whole 9 yards. Now, there's also going to be another option for you. You can buy it as a blank. All right, and then attempt to paint it yourself. The eye cuts will be cut out. The nose holes will be cut out. It'll come with no hair. And it'll be half price. It'll be $300 for a blank. And then you can, actually no, probably for a blank, $250. $250. Yeah, I think I'm trying to keep it so you can at least, some people they don't have the money, but like, I was trying to make it so where people, if you bought a blank, you would have to use a specific artist that I would want it to go to, but that's not right to anybody. So, and the artist is actually well known. He's probably the best in the business. James Carter. You guys know James Carter, right? James Carter. I was talking to James Carter directly about my mask, and he told me, no, he says, don't chase away the business. If anybody wants me to do the mask, then you have to reach out to him, and he will contact me after he talks to you and you get your finances, because I don't get in the middle of his whatever he charges for his paint jobs. I don't even question it. So I don't know what he charges. I'm not going to say that. I mean, he's going to, if you get James Carter to paint the mask and hair it and do everything to it, he'll call me and say, okay, John, I worked out a deal with this guy. Send me a blank. Boom, I send him the blank after you pay me for the blank, and probably pay me like 250 for the mask. I'm really trying to get 300 for it, the blanks, because I really don't want to do too many blanks. Um, but then again, it's better that I do. It's kind of a, it's kind of a no lose. It's a no lose situation because I'm a one man show. I'm by myself. So it's going to be really hard to keep up with this mask. I have a feeling. I think this mask is going to sell like crazy, and it's going to be hard for me to constantly make these masks and paint them and sell them and paint them and sell them and paint them. The real goal. We lost signal here. What's going on? You guys still there? Oh. All right. I don't know. My screen froze. Three heads, yes. These are all foam filled, stuffed. They're stuffed, foam filled, and ready for mastering. I'm not using these two. The only one I'm using is this one here because this has no flaws in it at all. That had no flaws, and the few that it did have, I was able to fix with no problem. It had just a tiny little air bubbles here and there, and that's no big deal to fix. So I'm using this as the master and shrinking it down so I can make the 25 and the 24-inch mask. Now I have a mold that'll do a 26-inch mask. That's what these are, 26s. But the two molds that I'll be using the most are the 25 and the 24. 26-inch head, that'd be somebody that's huge. You'd have to be like 6'6", 6'7", and big guy to fit into a 26-inch mask. So, is that 3 heads in a duffel bag? Yeah, that's 8 heads. That's 8 heads in a duffel bag. That's a classic movie, man. Love that movie. Pipe Master, I can't wait either, man. Let me read all these. Let me go back and read all these comments because I didn't really get to. Oh, Norton, I finally nailed it. Yes, I did. Yeah, that's this is going to be. This is going to be sick. I can't wait. It's just a long time to get to this point where the mask looks good. It's a lot of learning curves, and a lot of you guys with your eyes on it too that helped me out a lot. It helped me out a lot because you have to remember we're limited to very few pictures, and we kept finding new pictures that reveal a little bit more of the secrets to the mask. But at the same time, getting everything to look right it's not easy. Even like I see a lot of people make the mistakes of not having the bumps in the lower lip here. This bump. Those bumps have to be there because that's in the screen used mask. This here, if I had to do this over again, it needs to be a little deep right in here, but this here I would smooth down just a little bit more. It's not that big of a deal. You won't see it with the paint anyway. You're seeing it with heavy lighting. No, it's actually, you can't see it at all. That's good. That's good. Anyway, yeah, so, I'll think I have it perfect and then see something, just a little something that will make me go, if I had this in clay again, I'd fix that. I'd fix that. I'd fix this. You just keep, I'm going to constantly, I know I'm going to make this next clay head, but that's going to be the 2018. I'm going to work on the life cast, the LC mask. We're going to do that probably as soon as this is in production. I don't have nothing left to do but make masks and sell them. Paint them and hair them and sell them. And I'm going to give you guys the option to buy blanks instead. And all you guys that have been with me throughout, I'm feeling good. Black Scorpio, I'm just a little excited for this. Yeah, I am sticking with the plaster molds. The resin sucks. I just, no, that's done. Yeah, it's got to be getting late over there in Portugal. I'm guessing close to 11 or 12 p.m. Pipe Master, you're 5 hours ahead there in Portugal from where I'm at. Yeah, you're close to midnight. Oh man. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I really am, man. This is going to be fun. So all you guys that get the free masks that have been with me from the start, there's only like 4 or 5 of you guys, maybe 4 of you guys, that get a free mask. We're going to do custom name tags on the insides of the mask for each one of you guys. I'm going to hand sculpt your name like Pipe Master Edition. It's put in there. They won't be numbered. They'll be it'll say Prototype, Pipe Master Edition, Prototype Asylum Edition, and Prototype Bo Norton Edition. There was one other guy too, and I can't remember who it was. So that's the problem. I haven't been on a lot because I've been so busy with my other job plus working here. But now I'm done for the season, and I can focus on nothing but masks. Now I'm off on every weekend. I don't work on the weekends now. It's great. Everything's going to be going good. It turns out I'm getting the gastro bypass to lose the rest of my weight, which is a good thing. But it's going to take a long time to set that surgery up. It takes like 6 months, 4 to 6 months before they'll even do the surgery. So we're looking at November at the latest. So it'll be right after Halloween. And that's perfect for me. If I get the surgery in November, it kind of interferes with my job at work, at my other job, winter job. But we'll have to work that out. I mean, these people are great. They'll make something work out for me. And yeah, so that's what I'm looking at. And then next year, after I lose the weight, I've got 2 hip replacements to deal with. And I'm going to do that too. I need quality, man. The hell with quantity. If I don't make it through the surgery, so be it. But I want quality, man. The hell with this quantity shit. I mean, just feeling like crap all the time. Tough. So, all right, let me look down. Oh man, there's more posts. I didn't see them. Yes. I didn't show that process because Nick Mulpagano, you guys know who he is, and I'm good friends with Nick. He sells a video and shows you how to do that process. I won't share anybody's stuff that he's making a living off of. Now, the resin molds do work. They do work, but you have to learn the secret on how to do it. I know the secret now. The problem is, because of the mistakes that I made with this one, the problem is I hate the process. I don't like taking that long making one latex mask. In other words, I could have my stone mold dwell casting for just 1 hour to give me a perfect thickness, and the inside of that mask is perfectly smooth, even all over, even thickness in a stone mask. In that resin, in the resin mask, you don't know, it varies in thickness. It's, you have to layer the latex super thin, and the only way you can do that is if you actually thin down your latex, which I think weakens the latex. So I don't like thinning down my latex that much, because you need to make it runny so it runs out when you're dripping it. You got to let it drain, and you want a very thin casting of latex. And you have to do that multiple times. You have to skin it, then you have to dry it, then you have to skin it again, dry it, skin it again, dry it, skin it again, dry it. You're there for hours making one mask, where it only takes an hour to make one. 2 hours at the most. That's as thick as I'll make a mask, is 2 hours in a dwell cast. Yeah, so no, stone is the way to go. Now that I've figured out what was wrong with my my methods with my stone, two things were going on. The latex wasn't cured enough, so there was still some moisture bleeding out of the latex. It was still wet, not wet, but it was still, it had moisture in it, and you don't want stone up against the mask that's still curing. So the mask has to be really dry, probably like 4 or 5 days of drying before you even put stone on it. That was one issue. The second issue, I didn't put a release on it because latex doesn't stick to stone, so I wasn't putting any release on it. But what the release does is actually create a little barrier in case there is a spot that has a little moisture in it still. It creates a little barrier that the stone can't touch the latex. All right, so that's another thing that helps. Two, I was pulling the latex master out of the stone mold too fast. I didn't let it cure, so I let them cure in the mask overnight now. And this way the stone is really dry and hard before I pull it out. And then when I pull it out, so far 3 times straight, it's been perfect. Just changing those methods, and it works. Man, these lips look good, man. I gotta tell you, I'm looking at these lips and I'm going, yeah, man, they look good. And yeah, I'm seeing, like, even this little, you can't really see it on camera. Maybe you can. There's this little bit of a line here that's supposed to be there. There's a little bit of where this cheek goes in here and this runs flat. Right in here, runs flat. That's supposed to be there, and it is. It looks good. And as this shrinks down, you see this mask here. The face gets a little bit more narrow naturally. The 24-inch mask is going to look a little bit more narrow than these masks. Pucker up, sucker. Yeah, that's fun. I love it. I love it, guys. Love it, love it, love it. So, yeah, I'm done with the resin. I got 3 molds out there. One's only good. The other 2 have dimples in them. Don't know how that happened, and that's one of the reasons why I won't mess with resin anymore, because I don't have an answer for it. I don't know what it was that caused that dimpling inside the resin mold and the deformations. There was some little deformity in the mold itself, and there was no reason for it. It didn't make any sense, and I don't. You can't experiment with resin. That resin right there, those 2 gallons was $500 worth of material. All right, I got 3 molds out of 1 gallon. I still have a full gallon there, but I'm going to use that resin for making resin copies of my silicone masks. The silicone molds I have here, I can put resin inside those and make master copies of my thing. And I've also have a project that I'm going to be working on. I'm making something really cool that I don't think anybody's done. And, I'm going to sell those as well. But I have to sculpt them. I have to sculpt them. I have to sculpt them first, and it's not that hard to do. Let's just say I'm going to be sculpting a Michael Myers house about the size of one of these masks. You know, about that big, about that high. You know, I'll be sculpting a Michael Myers house. What I'm doing with that house, that's where you have to wait and see. Gonna be cool. Gonna be cool. And I'm not doing it with just Michael Myers. I'm gonna do it with pumpkin. I'm gonna do it with multiple things. Multiple things. I'm also gonna make resin pumpkins. Michael Myers shaped pumpkins. I'm gonna do the original Halloween 1, the original Halloween 2. Pumpkins. And the Halloween 2, I wanted to break apart and open and close. And they'll be made out of resin. So I'll be using that resin for this kind of stuff. Anyway, you're up to date. I'm telling you right now, I'm not that far away. I only have that one mold. I only have one more mold to make, and that's to make the 24-inch mask, and that latex. It's going to come out. The mold that's the latex that's in the mold right now is going to come out in this size. It's going to come out smaller. And then when you stone this is a 25-inch pull right here. When you stone this, that stone mold will make a 24-inch mask. Because every time you make them, you put latex in the mold, you pull it out, it shrinks up to about an inch. Alright, so then we'll have the 24-inch mask with the next mold that's there. That'll make the 24. But I have to make that mold on top of the latex pull that comes out. Hopefully that's a perfect pull. That's what I'm hoping for. I want it to be perfect. I beat on that thing for a half hour today. Made sure there was no air bubbles on the surface, but you never know. You never know. Hopefully hopefully it's perfect. And if it is, Black Scorpion, you guys all still with me? I don't know how many people are with me still. I'm watching. Good God, how many people do I have? I have 9 people on right now. Some of you aren't putting your. Well, if you're not texting that, or if you're not putting your questions or comments up, that's okay. But hit the like, please, and hit the subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And I take you along the journey. The only thing I won't do is like when somebody shares something with me that they make money on, and they're nice enough to let me know their secret. I never reveal their secret on how to. The mold process I don't share because that's on Nick Marpagano's channel, and he sells that mold, the resin mold making. I don't share that. I wouldn't share that. It's just he makes money on his videos on how to. Some people like the resin molds. I just don't want to spend that kind of time making one mask. It's just too much work. I'm lazy. I'll stick to the stone. Well, no, I'm not going to say it's not a bad process. I just don't have it mastered. And I don't want to spend a lot of time mastering something that's not mastered. And you got to understand, do you guys want this mask now or another year from now? Because I don't want to spend that kind of time waiting for, learning how to use this stuff. I just, no. Nope, that's not the way we're going to play this. So until I have an answer on what caused the deformation on two of those molds, I have no intentions of putting more resin on top of latex. See, resin and latex don't get along. You have to put a lot of release on these masks to put resin on the masks. The release puts a barrier between the surface of the latex and the resin. If the resin were right up against the latex, resin hates moisture. And if there's just a little bit of moisture in that latex, it won't cure. The resin won't cure. So there is no moisture, and I put a thick enough coat of release on it. That's all I can tell you about how to do the resin. I wouldn't show how to do it. I just wouldn't. It's really a long process. It's not an easy process. It's a messy process too. My God, is it messy. Although, I showed Nick how to do it without having a problem with the mess. And he's like, oh yeah, man. Oh, he likes it. He likes it. So I'm good. So he's going to start using that method himself, I think. Unless he was blowing smoke up my butt, which I don't think he does. He's a good guy. He's a good guy that at least I have never had any issues with. Never had any issues with Nick. He's such a great guy. I wouldn't be in this business if it wasn't partially because of him, because it wasn't. I got his videos on how to make masks, and it was his old videos, and I learned. But I'm also one of these guys that when I learn a technique one way, I always look for other ways to improve it. Not to just improve it, to make it easier for me. So, in a way, it does improve it, because if it makes it easier for somebody, then it's going to improve it. Sometimes that fails, though, when you're experimenting with stuff and you go, oh man, that didn't work. Wonder why. Why didn't that work? Then you got to figure out what caused it. And there's been a lot of those too. So, but always test the waters, And I shared a few things with Nick, and I think he's going to try it. But I got an idea from him with the name tag inside the mask. He was going to personalize masks, name tags inside the masks, and I think he was just going to sign it. And I said, Nick, wouldn't it be easier if you made a latex mold? Make a mold of a clay sculpture of somebody's name, and then just make a little mold of it, and then just latex it into the inside of the mask. I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. So I asked permission if I could use the same technique for these masks to give to you guys with your personalized names on them. But I'm also going to, I know you guys have Asylum Beyond the Dead. That's too many words. I'm going to just use Asylum. Bo Norton. And if you guys want to use this Pipe Master, I'm going to use Pipe Master, not 84. I don't want to be too wordy on there. It's going to say Asylum Edition. Unless you want to use a different name, and you don't want to share it here, that's fine. Personalize, give me a private message on Messenger through Facebook, and I will, whatever name you want on there, I'll make a nameplate for it that goes on the inside of the mask, and that should be awesome. That should be really cool. And then I'll sign it on the inside. It won't be a number, it'll be proto, because the numbered masks, they make a lot of money. And if somebody's buying number one, they're probably going to bid awful high on it. And I don't want that those number one masks have to be sold, can't be given away. But the protos, it's a prototype. And they're worth a lot of money too, guess, because they're before the selling of the mask. You're getting a photocopy of the mask prior to it being for sale. So I'm looking forward to this, guys. I think this mask is going to make us. It's going to make you. It's going to make me pretty popular. I have a funny feeling. And I hope you guys are well satisfied with the look of it. I hope you guys really like what you see. I think it's going to be a nice mask. I do. So there's now 6 people. I had 9, and now I'm down to 6. But I'm running out of steam, guys. I think I wanted to update you as far as what's going on and what I've been doing. And here it is. We're almost there. We've got one more mold to make in stone, and then we'll be able to produce the 24-inch mask. But I'm not going to really. I think the 25-inch mask will be order only. That'll never be on available for sale on eBay unless somebody orders it. I'll just make it so it's available in 25-inch. You'll have to special order that. But that takes away the ability to outbid somebody. But then you're going to pay. Anybody that orders a 25-inch mask, they're going to be paying full price for it. It's just the way it's going to be. I think this mask is worth $600. I do. We have to see how it looks painted and haired and everything. That has to be done first before I can set a price on this. I got to see how good this thing looks. Then from there we'll think about the price. But I think this thing looks really good. Pretty screen accurate. Do you guys agree? After all the times that you guys have been on me with all these little tiny things, I think we are so close that the smallest adjustment is not going to really make that big of a difference. Although I'm a perfectionist and I always want to make that adjustment. I see something wrong and I want to fix it. It's automatic with me. This is done. I can't do a thing to it now. So what do you think, guys? Do we have ourselves a flashback? V2 FB78. That's what you're looking at here. As a matter of fact, let me turn it around. You guys didn't see the back of the sculpture. Now, with that being said, the hair gets put on the mask here and here. Wait a minute. Here and here. These are left open, so you can't. The hair will come. The hairline will start here. It'll cover this. You won't see that. The neck won't have that big 78 on there like I originally had. Which I'm glad. I kind of don't want that. I think it's the V2 FB78 custom corpses, and it'll all be hidden underneath the hair. You won't see it. You'll have to lift this hair up to see the custom corpses. So let me tilt it forward so you can see the custom corpses. There's my monster eyes right there. The custom corpses. That's my logo. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I really am. It's going to be nice. Yep. I love the flashback mask. You know what? That was Pipe Master convinced me to do this flashback. And there's only 3 of us that are good at it that I've seen. I haven't seen every. I shouldn't say that because there might be somebody out there that we're not aware of that might have a really, really accurate mask. So I don't want to see that. But three that I'm aware of, me, Jimmy Falco, and Nag are producing this mask. Now, Nag is he's in Greece. Nag's from Greece. So he's on the other side of the planet. And me and Jimmy Falco, we're not that far apart. I think he lives in New York somewhere, and I'm here in South Jersey. So we're the only three that we're aware of that are making pretty accurate masks with the flashback. And man, was that time consuming to get to this point. It was tough. Not easy. But I'm getting tired, guys. I'm gonna call it a night. I just wanted to give you guys a heads up where we're at with this sculpture, where we're at with this mask, and we are almost ready for production. It's going to be a nice flashback mask. I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see. I want to see you guys post your mask when you get it. I really want to see a box. When you guys get your free masks, you've got to do me a favor and do what do they call that? A box opening. When you open up the box and see it for the first time. I need to see that. I need to see that reaction. So do me a favor, put your camera on yourself when you're opening up the box. I want to see your reaction when you see the mask in person. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. That's going to be so cool. It's so worth it. I have no problems with giving you guys those free masks because you know what? If it wasn't for your help and the constant riding my ass, we wouldn't be here. This wouldn't look like this. This wouldn't look like this. I think I would have given up on this. I really did. It's a tough mask. It's really, really hard. It's not an easy mask to do. And it's because of the lack of photographs from all different angles. You need a lot of pictures. It's like a 3D scanner. It takes thousands of pictures from every possible angle, and that's how it makes a 3D print. Yes, Asylum, do an unboxing for me. I really want to see that video, especially on your channel. I have been watching your videos, buddy. I've been watching some of your videos. I've just been so busy between my other job and then trying to get this done, and that whole resin, nightmare really sidetracked me for a couple weeks. It really did. It was what a pain in the ass. I'll never do it again. But only because I don't want to waste the material. So, yeah, any of you guys who get these masks, even if you don't want to put your face on camera, just put the box and your hands in the box. But now I want to see your reaction. That's the whole point. I want to see your reaction. What's this? An Asylum screw resin. Okay, Asylum. That says custom slasher. Custom slasher. Where does it say custom slasher? I missed your joke. Asylum, sometimes you go off on the tangent, and I'm trying to play catch up here. Custom slasher. No, I haven't seen that. I've seen the advertisement from Fear Street. That looked pretty good. Sounds good. Do a review too. Hell yeah, man. Anything that's gonna, especially when you got people that are interested in that, and then you can turn them my way if they're interested in one of these masks. Anybody that asks you where you got it, custom corpses, send them my way. And I have a website that I haven't put anything on. I haven't done anything with the website. I do have a website that I'm going to sell through at some point. But I don't want to I got to make a name for myself. I'm still not known yet. You know, you're not known until you really do something that will make you known. So I think this mask can make me known. It has the ability to make me known. But let's see what happens. You know, it's easy for me to say, yeah, it's going to get real big. It's going to sell a lot. We got a bad economy right now. We have a real bad economy out there, and people are scared. You know, and it's not fun. I'm not going to get political. No politics. No politics. I'm not talking about that. But everybody's struggling right now, and I'm not trying to get rich off this stuff. But you guys know yourselves how long and how hard I worked on this to get this to this point, and it's a lot of work. So yes, I have to cash in while the fire's hot. See, once all the collectors have this, then the sales starts to drop off. You know, that seems, just it's the way it is. So you got to make your money while you can in the beginning. Collectors don't seem to give a damn about how much money they spend. They really don't. If they really, really love what they see, they're going to spend whatever they got to spend. But I'm not trying to create bidding wars or whatever. You know, I don't know, whatever. There's going to be a buy it now option with my. I think the first 5, 1 through 5, or maybe 1 through 10. There won't be a buy it now option, because I want to see where the value goes. I want to see what the people are willing to outbid each other for it. I want to see what happens. You know, I want to see how that bidding war goes. I'm only a one-man show, so when one goes on eBay, it's like the last mask that I made. I couldn't keep up with it. You know, it was really tough because by the time I made a mask, haired it, put it up. I put it on eBay. The one time I put one on eBay, it lasted 2 minutes? 2 minutes and it sold. Next day I was mailing it off to somebody. And here I am. I got to go right back to the drawing. I got to make another latex mask, and I don't make a whole bunch of masks at once, because if you do that, you could get stuck with a lot of wasted material. You don't do that. You have to make them as you go. You might do 1 or 2 or 3 at the most ahead of time, but you don't go overkill. You don't want to do too many at once. But my plan is to probably make 2 or 3 at a time when I make these, but only sell 1 at a time on eBay. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. So, yeah, I'll have to get everybody's address and all that fun stuff from you. Asylum, I hope you're on Facebook, because that's one of the ways you're going to have to communicate with me through Messenger, to send me your address so I can send this off to you. What state do you live in, Asylum? Without giving your address away, what state do you live in? Just curious. Are you still there with me? Dayton. Okay, we're not that far away from it. Ohio's not that far away. Oh, Ohio's not that far away. I'm on the East Coast. I'm at the very southern tip of South Jersey. All the way to the tip. That's where I'm at. Cape May, New Jersey. Black Scorpion, your neighbor. How far are you? How close to you are you? I remember you saying where you were before, but I couldn't find it. How close? Well, name the closest town that's in your vicinity. English Town. Yes. Where's that next to? Where is that located? in Jersey. Is it in Jersey? Englishtown? I have to look it up on the maps. Give me something that's popular that's real close to you. Gotcha. I know where you're at. Old Bridge. Yeah, I'll have to look. I'll look them up. Raceway Park. Yeah, I know where it's at. I know where it's at. We're still a good distance up the road. Timeout. What'd she eat? What did she eat? What did she tear up on you? Where did she shit? That's what I want to know. Oh, God. Cats, animals. I don't have any pets. I don't have any pets. And it's not because I dislike pets. I like cats, but I'm allergic to cats, so I can't have cats. I love dogs, but here's the thing. If you know you don't have time or energy to take care of a pet, do not get a pet, because I just don't have enough time to be taking care of a pet. Maybe when I'm fully retired, I'll get a dog. But until then, I can't get a pet. Plus, if I don't get these hips fixed, I ain't gonna be able to walk the dog, so I can't be doing that. And I just don't. I wouldn't get a pet that I couldn't really take care of and give it a really, really great life. You know, so it's not because I dislike pets. I love dogs. I really do. Dogs are very friendly to me too. You know that I've seen dogs that literally their hair goes up on end on anybody else, and I'll walk up and the dog will come right up to me and start lapping at me on my hand, and you know, fidge at me to try to get me to pet it, you know, and then everybody's looking at like the owner is like, that dog doesn't like anybody. You got like sugar on you or something? You got something sweet on you? Now the dogs, they really do like me a lot. So. Although I gotta say, my son's dog loves my son to death. Oh my God! But the dog's a little scared of me. Don't know why. I'm very intimidating to that dog. And not as much anymore, but when it was a puppy, it was really afraid of me. I guess because I was so big. You know, maybe that had a lot to do with it. So how many out there love animals? Raceway Park. You're up there a ways. I just think it's wrong to own an animal if you can't really take care of it. Tell you a funny story. I had a dachshund when we were kids. I was probably about 17 years old, 16 years old, something like that. I went to the store called Wawa. I don't know if you guys have Wawas out there, but we have Wawas in Jersey. And it's a convenience store. You know, and you can get a hoagie there. You can get all kinds of stuff. Now they sell pizza and hamburgers and every other damn thing. You name it, they got it there. So it's a convenience store that's open all night long. So I go in there. I don't know. It was like 7 o'clock at night. Get myself a nice hoagie, you know, and I'm sitting on my chair watching TV with my dad, This is back when my dad was still alive. Miss my old man. Miss my mother too. They're both dead now. So it sucks when you lose your parents, but I have great memories. So I'm sitting on the chair, my arms are on the arm, and I've got my hoagie right in my hand. And that little sucker jumped up and literally kind of like head over heels, jumped, grabbed, and took off with my sandwich. That dachshund eyed that up. Now the thing was really funny is my dad the whole time was watching that dog eye up my sandwich. Now the dog was behind me a little bit, all right, and my dad was across the living room looking at the dog and me at the same time. And you know, he kept like laughing a little bit. And I'm like, what are you laughing at? You know? And just as I said that, the dog jumps, grabs the sandwich, takes off. Before I could even get near the dog, he had already devoured it and swallowed it whole. I was like, you son of a bitch. And I had to walk back to the Wawa, which was about 2 miles away. It wasn't that far. It was like 2 miles. And get another sandwich because I was starving and we had no food in the house at all, you know, that was prepared. And I was like, oh, I got to go back down and get a sandwich. My dad's laughing his ass off. He says, I watch that dog just watch that dog looking at your hand. And every time your sandwich moved a little bit, you took one bite. By the second bite, the dog had your sandwich. But he watched that dog, wouldn't take his eye off my sandwich. And that's what was making him laugh. And then he knew that that was going to happen. He knew that dog was going to jump up and grab that sandwich. So I think the funny part was that my dad's like, well, since you're going back to Wawa, can you give me a thing of ice cream? So, because my dad loved ice cream. He was a big ice cream eater. It wasn't good for him because he was diabetic. So yeah, give me a half gallon. Give me a half gallon. They don't even make half gallons anymore. They tell you they're half gallons. They're not half gallons. They're not even pints. It's a joke. But back in the day, a half gallon was literally a half gallon of ice cream. Man, he'd eat that whole damn thing. I'm like, Dad, you're going to be sick. No, I'm good. You have a Russell Terrier, yeah, and they're nice dogs. But I can tell you something. That dachshund I'm talking about, they're hunting dogs. And man, I don't know how. I tried to watch that dachshund. It was a female dog, and the dog's name was Muffin. Now, we kind of inherited that dog from an old friend of the family's because we ended up babysitting this dog for like 2 months. And the dog got used to us and didn't want to go back to the original owner. And he moped around, and you know, he really loved us, and he loved my grandfather the most. And the dachshund was so smart. Damn, that dog was smart. So I tried to watch that dog hunt because, damn it, that dog every day would come home with a dead rabbit in its mouth. He caught rabbits. That dog with 3.5-inch legs, managed to catch rabbits. And the dog wasn't real fast, but fast enough and smart enough, it figured out a way to stop, catch the rabbits. And it would catch these rabbits almost every day. Now, my grandfather, he used to skin the rabbits and then eat the rabbit. He'd have rabbits too. The dog would come home with the rabbit in its mouth, not even beat up, broken neck, no tear in the flesh, didn't rip it apart or anything, just broke its neck, brought the rabbit right to my grandfather, and then literally dropped it at its feet, dropped the rabbit right at his feet. My grandfather, who was intelligent with animals, he was amazing with them. He would reach in his pocket and he pulled out this little baggie, and I was like, what the hell is that? And it's so funny because there was a movie with Jack Nicholson in it. He had a baggie of bacon. Anytime that dog came home with a rabbit, he would give that dog a nice big fat piece of bacon. And that dog went out and hunted every day for a rabbit to bring home. Not joking, no joke. This is the real. This is a real deal. He'd pull out that bacon. Dog would drop the rabbit. I watched it. I watched that part. He just dropped the rabbit right at his feet, and he just kind of wagged his tail, viciously, waiting for that piece of bacon. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, Jesus, that's all it takes to teach this dog how to hunt? Yep. Dog knew how to hunt. It's inherent. It's their instincts. But man, how he got that dog to bring that rabbit without being destroyed and dead already, broken neck, but hot. It's another thing, because my grandfather taught me how to skin one. And showed me how to skin it. And he's one of these guys that, you're going to learn. You're going to learn it with your hands dirty. You're not going to watch me do it. Get your hands dirty. So I did. I got my hands dirty. I was a little surprised. The damn rabbit was still warm, very warm. He had just caught that rabbit. Yeah, that dachshund was amazing. I didn't chase. No, I never chased the dog. First of all, when the dog's hunting a rabbit, it knows to be upwind. It knows all these little things that most of us don't understand. And if you're anywhere near the dachshund or the dog that's hunting, the dog's not going to hunt. He's going to quit because he knows that you're giving his location away. You're giving him away. He can't hunt with your watching every move. So, dog would take off in the woods, come back with a damn rabbit in his mouth, and drop it at my grandfather's feet, and he'd reach into that little baggie of bacon, and my God, unbelievable. And then I saw the movie Jack Nicholson. I can't remember what it was called, but he was a little weird, very eccentric in this movie, and he was older when he did this movie. And there was a dog involved, and he was giving him bits of bacon. And when I saw that movie, it reminded me of my grandfather giving that dog that bacon. I thought, my God, the little secrets we don't know. Now you can't chase. You got to let the dog do its hunting. You can't follow it. You can't, because you're man. It'd be like me trying to chase after a rabbit and try to catch it by hand. Not going to happen. But my guess is the dog knew the trail that the rabbit was taking. Knew the trails that the rabbits were on. Because a rabbit, one thing about a rabbit, it stays on the trail that it's used to. It never goes off those trails. If it has a trail in the woods, you can see the trails all over the place, through the grass, through anything. You can see the trails. And you can see it's a rabbit trail. And, so we don't have as many rabbits anymore. And the reason why, as a matter of fact, I haven't seen my 2 rabbits that we had in our yard. We got a lot of coyotes now. And I think the coyotes are eating the rabbits like crazy. They're just destroying the rabbits. There's not very. We had 2 rabbits in our yard. And they were taking shelter underneath the shed. I haven't seen the rabbits in probably a good 2 weeks, maybe a week and a half. That bothers me because I love the rabbits. They walk right up to us. The rabbits we have in our yard, we've had them. It's like the 5th or 6th generation of rabbits that have been, their parents lived in our yard, so on and so forth. Wow, that's probably going to break the chain if those rabbits are dead. But the rabbits, they walk right up. They get within 2-3 feet. Now they won't come right up to your feet. They come within 2-3 feet of you. As long as you're not, jumping at them or making them, they won't take off. They'll just sit there and look at you. Duh. We also have a lot of hawks and eagles now. We got a lot of bald eagles. So maybe they fell prey to a hawk or an eagle. I don't see any ospreys. Ospreys are usually right on the bay. They don't come in this far inland. I had oceanography, marine biology, and marine environmental for 4 years, so I know a lot about that stuff. And I've probably forgotten more than I've learned. I've definitely forgotten more than I remember. Let's just say that is. I've forgotten more knowledge than I actually remember. But Black Scorpion, you have a good night. And I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get this mask into people's hands and get those reactions. You have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon on the next video. Yeah, I'm going to end this video too. I'm going to end this stream because I'm getting tired. I'm going to go watch some boob tube. Oh yeah, time to relax. I did my work for the day. I got my mask made. I just have to let it dry out. All right, guys. Let me pull it off the stand here. There's an interesting view. Look at that, guys. Look how good that looks. Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to say goodnight, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.